here. I want to welcome you guys to Thursday, the close of March. Very exciting month. I don't know about you guys, but here in my organization, we're having our biggest month ever, and we have a lot of record breaker people this month, even though it's not record breaker. I have been in Tupperware. Again, my name is Samantha Mendoza from Reno, Nevada, for those of you that just jumped on. I have been in Tupperware 19 years. This summer it'll be 19 years. Today is actually the anniversary of me becoming a manager. I started at the end of August, the year I started, almost 19 years ago, and I became a manager by the end of March. Because when I first started Tupperware, I said, this is stupid. I'm not going to do this full time. I'm going to get some free stuff, get my discount, and I'm going to go. And that was 20 free cars ago, and I'm now a business leader of Northern Nevada. I actually was one of the partners that took over the area for Allison Waller, who is now your Vice President of Sales. So that's very exciting as well. I come from a great lineage, and we have grown this company pretty significantly in the last 6 years. So I'm excited about that. So for me, one of the biggest things that I have been very blessed in my business is to have a lot of people who are have a lot of team camaraderie, and we're very consistent in our business. But I have a lot of challenges sometimes because I have a husband who works in the prison system. He often works 16-hour days. And I have 3 boys that range from 16, one's way taller than me, a 12-year-old who's almost as tall as me, almost 13, and he's very 13 right now, and a 5-year-old you might see pop in the background here in a little bit because he loves to be on the camera. I don't know where he gets that from. So I know that in the business there's a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of it is because we don't quite always know how to structure our schedules, right? Sometimes that can be very challenging. We're not sure how to fit in everything. We want to have the best business we possibly can, but how do I not give up time for different things and still squeeze it in and be successful? And that's taken a lot of years for me to learn to understand. So I'm going to just kind of give you guys what I feel like are some of my best practices. For those of you that are joining us via phone or without a camera, I am going to do slides tonight. So make sure you ask your business leader for those slides later, that they can email them or something over to you. And I've also sent all of your business leaders the handouts. So if they didn't already post it or email it to you, make sure you ask them about that, because I will have handouts that kind of go alongside of it. You don't have to have them, but it makes life easier. Next time I train in April, I'm going to train on DISC profile, which is all about personality styles. And it's how, kind of teaches you how you tick, how they tick, how do you tick together. And that's a really big component in your business as well, so that you can learn how to manage that and understand that and start to understand the structure, because some of you are probably very new in this as well, and some of you are nice and seasoned like myself. So I'm going to go right to our slides. I won't be able to see the chat when I'm on slides, just that's how Zoom works. So if you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. And then if you look at that, even my dog is coming in here to get trained. He just opened my door. So if you can just, pipe in if you have a question. Otherwise, I won't see the chat. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So I'm going to bring up the slides here that I have for you, just so that those of you guys that are joining us and you can see, kind of get some perspective on what I talk about. So again, welcome to Time Management and Datebook Strategy, and hopefully this will help you. If you have a notebook, grab that close by, and if you have your date books, that's also really helpful, because I talk to our date book. That's a really big thing for me. So first thing that I want to kind of talk to you about is your mental state, I guess, if you will, in your date book. For me, the key to success, a successful business, is what gets scheduled gets done. And Stanova talks to us a lot about that. And it really doesn't matter what it is for you in your business. If it's something that's personal, schedule it. If it's something that's business, schedule it. If it's something for family, schedule it. If you plan to have a party and the party cancels, what are you doing instead of it? Do you jump on these trainings that are offered very consistently throughout the month? Do you hibernate in a closet or in your office, whatever you have, to sit and make phone calls for at least an hour? Or do you sit in front of the TV and think, oh good, I don't have to have a party tonight? So if you want a successful business, you got to schedule it, you got to follow through, and then when things kind of fall apart, what do you do to fix that? And so first thing is, for yourself, you are the CEO of your business. That means you're in charge, and you have the right to say what happens and doesn't happen. But you need to make sure that you are scheduling those things and getting them in your date book. Parties are your office. That's the easiest way to control your schedule and to get as much done as possible. We sell at our parties, we date at our parties, we recruited our parties if we're doing all of the steps. And if you're having hiccups in any of those areas, get with your business leader and your directors so that they can help guide you through what are the things that you need to do in order to achieve a consistent date book, to achieve recruiting at your parties, and to achieve massive sales, hopefully by set selling and those kind of things. And then also create a system or use ones that have already been created and worked. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times we tend to go think, oh, that doesn't work, so I'm going to do something different, and then that doesn't work. And a lot of times I am a repeat offender. So if something works for me, I'm not going to change it. If I see that something has worked for other people, I'm going to try it because it worked for them. They already tried that path. So that's something that I definitely want to make sure that I'm working through. So the next thing that we would talk about, and I'll explain some of those things for you guys as well. So the first sheet that I have for you is time management. Because I live a very busy lifestyle and we're on the go all the time. My boys are going in different directions. They all play baseball. We travel a lot. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see a lot of those pictures. So you guys can read through this. Actually, I'll read most of it because we do have listeners versus people who can see. So it says, many of you have expressed the challenge of not having enough time to accomplish all your needed tasks and not being able to organize. Having good organization and management skills is absolutely imperative to your business. Being well organized can greatly affect your successfulness. Listed below are some things you can do to help you accomplish all that you need to have in a successful business. So I'll read through this and give you a couple of ideas, and then if you have questions, definitely ask. So the first one is learn to delegate. Not everything takes your personality, and that's okay. And not everything requires your personality. Some things, like doing my lap boards, for example, at my parties, I don't need to do that. I have a 16-year-old who has a really nice iPhone. So if he wants to earn his iPhone, right, he can do my lap boards because that doesn't necessarily take my personality. Does it mean that I would give it to my 5-year-old? Absolutely not. I give him old catalogs and an old stamp and he thinks he's helping. So it just depends on your situation. Some of you might think, well, I don't have kids at home. That's okay, borrow some. I always like to say there's usually kids in the neighborhood, or your friends and family, maybe grandma lives with you, different scenarios that people can help you. At the end of the day, ultimately, you can only count on yourself. So if you don't have helpers, then yes, you have to learn where are you going to put that time into your schedule. Number 2 is setting business hours. If my rally nights are Monday or Tuesday, depending on your business leader, then those are the nights that I go to my fun night or my rally. If I have let's say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are my party nights, and I don't have, there he goes. Bye, love you. That's the 16-year-old. See, they all have a schedule. Good thing he can drive. So if I don't have a party that night, but I intended to have a party, and that's what I planned for the month, then I would make sure that I'm sitting down at my desk at least making phone calls for an hour. Or I might get online and see what's new and has changed in our back office. Or I might get caught up to date on Cheryl's training that she does weekly every Tuesday morning, because some of you probably work. And so if you can't watch her Tuesday trainings, when can you watch those trainings? Because they're always super good. This week it happened to be on Thursday. So, learn to be flexible in that as well. Number 3, keeping your our office organized. Now, if you can see behind me, all my office is not super organized, maybe to you, but to me, it's organized in my way, so it works for me. If your office is a hot mess and that's the excuse that you use why you can't get things done, schedule some time to clean it and get over it, is what I like to say, because some of us can't work in chaos, and I completely understand that and can relate to that. On the same token, some of us, it doesn't really matter, and so you can keep going, and you want to, because your why and your goals have to be big enough. It doesn't matter about the chaos around you. You keep pushing forward. And I always say, make sure you have a why, because that's what makes you do what you're supposed to do in the first place. Number 4, group like activities and errands together. That can be 2 different things. If I have, and when I first started Tupperware, I worked in a grocery store that changed my schedule every single week. And I only knew that I had Tuesdays off and Saturdays. So I went to my meetings on Tuesday at the time. That's when Allison held her meetings, and I would go to those. Or Saturdays, I did 3 parties a day. I did a 10 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, and a 7 o'clock. I did 10 and 2, usually within the same town. I live in the bigger city of our northern area, and we have a lot of smaller outlying areas. So I would do my earlier parties would always be at our outlying areas, and my 7 o'clock party would be in town, because that's usually when I'm the tiredest, and I've done 3 parties. So I've given myself an extra gap between 2 and 7. Those parties, there's extra time. So if I'm tired, I can take a cat nap, right? And also to give myself time that I'm getting home the fastest from my last party. I don't want to be driving an hour and a half from the furthest distance when I should have done that in the morning when I'm wide awake. So I look at it that way. Also, in grouping like activities, if I'm delivering a bunch of product, I don't deliver most of my product anymore. I have everything direct shipped. Because of my busy schedule, I just can't do that. So when I was, it would be that I would deliver all of this town's product this day and all this town's product on this day. Or I've had a meetup time at our office or our studio, depending on what your business leader has and where you guys meet. And that's a great way to say, hey, guess what, Sherry, all of your product is here. So why don't you come meet us at Rally or Fun Night this week, and I'll bring it for you. And that creates that desire for them to want to come to your sales meeting that week and see what Tupperware is all about. And that gives you a recruiting opportunity as well. So just an idea for you. Number 5, to-do lists are also really important. I'm one of those people that I think so quickly and my mind's going all the time that I don't always stop to think of what's next. So I need a Post-it note, or I know some people use an actual notebook or a to-do notebook that you get at those specialty stores. Whatever works for you, write it down, and that way things will get done. And if it's things like do the laundry, is that something that has to happen right now, or is it okay if it happens tomorrow? Maybe you're doing a coaching call with your upline. Me personally, I can fold laundry and be on the phone at the same time, but I can't fold laundry and do computer work at the same time. So hopefully you understand the difference there. And then also what I often do, because sometimes we don't feel like we accomplished very much that day, and I work from home, so I like to look like I got a lot done, right? Especially when the husband comes home. And so if I did something and it wasn't on my to-do list, I write it down and then I cross it off, because it makes me feel satisfied that I got things done. And that really is a big key indicator for a lot of people, that it makes them feel accomplished. And it's important for people to feel accomplished to build confidence. And then number 6, plan for tomorrow. Do you always look at the next day, the next week, the next month, the next quarter, and the year? At the end of every year, around Christmas and New Year's, I plan my whole next year to the best of my ability of things that I know are going to happen. Holidays, birthdays, vacations I've already planned. I get out my date book and I highlight it and those things, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then each quarter, I also will sit and plan every quarter that things are going on. So I put in Spring Fest, I put in Fall Fest, Jubilee, all the big events that we have, our weekly meetings. And that's going to be a little bit different for me as a business leader versus you as a team member at whatever level that you play. And then I always plan for the next day, because life happens to the best of us, right? We always have life happening, whether there was weather or, you know, I live in northern Nevada, 8 hours north of Las Vegas. So we actually get snow and sunshine in the same day often. And sometimes it can be beautiful and sunny outside, and within an hour we have a blizzard. And a lot of people don't know that about Reno, Nevada. I'm right below Lake Tahoe. And so we get crazy weather. Just today, it's 70 degrees outside, and last week we had an avalanche at the top of the mountain that I live by, and people couldn't get down the road. So you have to plan for error, and what can you do to work around that. So at the bottom here, it just says, take a few minutes right now and start listing everything. So I would encourage you guys, if you don't have the handouts already, I'll leave this up for a second, take a picture of it with your phone, so that you can see the different things, if you didn't already write it down, so that you can see the different things that would help you to start planning for that future, so that you can start kind of listing that out in your date books, okay? Any questions so far? You guys good, following along? So I'm gonna switch to the next sheet here.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Paulette. If you're doing 3 parties in a day, I mean, you're not taking all your products. What normally do you take with you that makes it simpler to go from party to party?
What
products do you take?
I always take my kit. So the basic of the kit, because that's your biggest recruiting bid, it's a $350 value for less than $40. So they need to see, most people are visual, they need to see what that looks like and not on a piece of paper. I always take a host gift special, always, and if you can afford to have both, then you take both. Because to me, that is dressing your mannequin. If you go to your favorite store 3 days in a row and the mannequin is naked, you're going to wonder what's wrong. So to build a desire of dating parties, you need to have the big tchotchke, the carrot that dangles in front of them to date that party. Do they always want the host gift special? No. But do they often date for it and sometimes pick something else? Absolutely. So that's a priority. I take the purchase with purchase because that creates added sales. And I take the attendance offer because I create an environment that you cannot buy the attendance offer without placing any small order. So I don't even, and for lack of better words, I don't allow people to buy the attendance offer without placing an order. The other things that are a key component that I would always take to my parties are I have a kitchen bag. So whatever my demonstration is about, then I would take my pressure cooker or my stack cooker, or I take knives, I take towels because I don't like to use other people's towels. They're often not clean. And I like to have good knives at my party, and I always have choppers. I do take all 3 of our choppers with me. And so I tend to take a little bit more to parties, but I sell a lot more. The other thing that you might want to consider is do your recipe based on the say yes and activation. A lot of times we don't always have the newest product like the current activation with all the new impression colors. So a lot of times you can't take that, but you can take something that is a current color and you can say this is like this. You never ever take old colors that they can't buy. So the current activation is a different color, but you can buy it in this color in the catalog. You see what I'm saying? And then the current say yes is the pressure cooker. So my recipe, because I cook at every single party, I believe that's a must, I will use whatever the say yes gift is, which is typically one of our premium products. So I really try to do that. If our premium product, or excuse me, our say yes doesn't include cookware, I always take a piece of cookware. So I know I just threw a ton of stuff at you, but I sell big product items. Our organization here is really big on selling cookware, and we recruit the people because we want them to earn the $1,500 set for $3 by the time they get it with their Confident Start, right? And so when they're in Confident Start, they have the opportunity to get that whole cookware set for just $3. But right now, Donna, as my host, you can get it for half price, or you can buy a piece as a customer. And I want them excited about cookware because then they're going to want more, and then they buy it. And as a result, like I have a girl on my team right now who this year has sold in 3 months already more than $40,000 personal sales and she doesn't hold many parties, and she does everything online and does a lot of cookware sales. But her parties are Facebook parties, so she is still live, but she's military, she lives in different directions, and so her people she knows from everywhere. So is she having an in-home party in somebody's living room? No, but she often is having a party in her living room that everybody is watching her. So it's a little bit of a difference there, okay? So we focus really big on premium products. I don't talk about spatulas. I don't talk about a little lunch set and things like that, because they're gonna buy that stuff anyways. I want them thinking bigger. If they're not gonna spend $149 on a pressure cooker, they're gonna host a party to get it for half price, or they're gonna sign up and get it for $30 or in the Confident Start program. So I look at it that way. Does that help you? I'm gonna, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. So the next thing here is, I always say the 4 Ds here: do it, delegate it, dump it, or defer it. And this comes back to your to-do list. Either it takes your personality. So for example, this training tonight, nobody else was going to do it for me. It's me doing the training, right? Can't ask my son to do that like I can my lap boards. Delegate it, the lap boards, my son can do that. I'm setting up at my office, my directors help me with that. Dump it, meaning, is it something, does it really have to happen, or do I need to just forget it, I can skip that errand today or something like that? And then defer it, can it be done tomorrow? Okay. And with that, let's get organized. So I want to teach you guys a little bit of color coding. I'm going to come off of the slides for a minute. I'm really big on highlighting because I like organization. It's my personality style. So I love the date book that Tupperware gives us in our kit for new consultants, a great starter. It tells you when payday is, tells you when the month starts and when the month ends, and when big events are happening. But if you truly want your business to grow and explode, you need a planner, not a date book, a planner. And in my life, I prefer to plan everything. And so I'm really big on the Passion Planner. If you've never heard of it, mine is gold this year, but it's called Passion Planner. You can go to passionplanner.com. They have a Facebook page as well. And what I love about this, and what I believe is very important about a planner, is that you have a month at a glance and a week at a glance. And when you're looking at your week at a glance, I'm going to flip to a random month here. When you have a week at a glance, it needs to have really early start times and really late end times. And what I mean by that is Passion Planner starts, if you can see this, at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it goes until 10 o'clock at night. We as Tupperware women and men don't usually start our parties in the middle of the day. Most planners and date books are 8 to 5s. We start our parties after 5 o'clock at night, typically, right? So if I don't have a planner that puts me past 5 o'clock, then for me being super organized, I can't write everything in. I will write my host's name, her address, her recipe, sometimes directions to her house, and any other notes for myself. If my week at a glance only goes till 5, there's no room for me to write all that stuff in there. So that's important to me. The other thing that I do is the month at a glance. I can write a lot of different things in here. Now this is a basic month at a glance for me, and I'll explain the highlighters here in a second. But let me go to my date book. Sometimes freaks people out because it's really busy, and I have lots of post-it notes in here because I keep things a little bit, I'm a super organized person. So I do 3 different colors, and you can get these at the dollar store for $1 for the whole pack. I do P is for pink, blue is for business, yellow is for YOB, your own business. So yellow, pink, and blue highlighters. And I do blue is business, so that's all my fun night, rally nights, whatever your business leader calls it. The end of the month is highlighted in blue, and any like Spring Fest events, big launch events, go parties are blue because that's a business opportunity. P, pink, personal, and if you're a purple person, use purple. That would be maybe my hair appointment, my nail appointment, Sundays with my family. I don't work on Sundays. That's my choice. That's the day my husband is off. It might be a birthday or anniversary, those kind of things. And that stuff is typically planned out, like I talked about in the beginning, that I do at Christmas and New Year's. That's planned for the whole year. The only time I ever add in any pink or purple, the personal, is if I'm adding in a nail appointment or a hair appointment. And then yellow is the YOB, your own business, because we say when you have a JOB, you're just over broke, right? And your YOB allows you to make more money when you want to. And so this is just an example for you guys of my April, because my kids are on spring break, so I'm managing that schedule right now, and they're all in baseball. So I often do Post-it notes, but you can see my Sundays are outlined in pink. My first week is outlined in pink because we're going to be out of town. My Mondays are outlined in blue, and then you can see very clearly where I plan to have parties. And I outlined the whole box in pink if that whole day is in pink, but I don't color it in, if that makes sense. My Monday nights are highlighted out in blue, just the box, not completely filled in. That's too busy for me. But my yellows, because yellow highlights well, it is highlighted and filled in the whole box. I do that for a couple different reasons. Because my life is crazy busy, at a quick glance, if somebody said, hey, can you hold a party on April 20th? I can look at my date book at a quick glance and go, yes, I can, because it's highlighted. It's a day I already planned to hold a party, and so I can write their name in. If they said, can you do it on the 19th, and I look over at it and it's highlighted in blue, that means it's a training night for me or something in my business that I can't do a party, so then I can control the situation and where I go. And that's where I would use a 3-week calendar at my parties. And if you don't know what that is, ask your business leader and they can help you through what a 3-week calendar is. I don't ever take in my planner to my parties. My date book, my planner doesn't go into my parties. I only use a 3-week calendar at my parties because I can control the schedule at that point. So I will put all those things in there. The other thing is this really helps me to recognize where I'm working my business and where I choose not to. And if I know that I want to have a $4,500 month to achieve the Connie Awards and the bonus levels, then I need to have 12 parties scheduled or 8 double hosts in case of cancellation or small parties. So I'm going to go through my 4 weeks of April, and I'm looking for 3 spots in each week that I can hold a party. And let's say in week 1 I'm gone, and so where can I get the sales of 3 parties, for example? Well, I need my 1 party on this day and my this party on this day to be double host parties, so I have the equivalent of 3 parties, if you will, that week. Maybe I'm looking at samples, because my goal is to have $1,000 to $1,500 every single week in sales, and that's what I teach my company, so that we can maximize their bonuses and make sure they're earning either all their Confident Start rewards or the monthly gifts and the weekly gifts that we're working on. So that's a little bit of why I do highlighting, because for a quick glance, it makes my life easier. I'm not a sticker person. I don't like all the busyness. I've started doing a little bit more of that, and it's too busy for me. And then I only write in my date book in pencil, because life changes. So if I had a party on one of those yellow days, if you will, and they canceled, I put a little slash through it. I don't X it off because that seems really negative. And I know that they canceled, and I can go back and I can call Lisa later and say, hey, Lisa, it's Samantha. I'm calling you back to reschedule that party that we were going to have last week. When is a good time for you? But then I can still see all the information there, because I cross her off because I was mad at her, right? I can still look at all that information there. The other thing I do is on my yellow days, when that party holds and Marty has held her party, I'm going to highlight it in blue, because blue with yellow highlighting equals green. It changes colors, and that tells me that my party held and I made money. So it's a good visual for people to recognize, especially when your husband says, how much money did you make this month? I don't know about any of you guys, but my husband, every single month, because he's been around long enough, how much is your paycheck? How much did you make tonight? And they want to know, right? And let me tell you a little trick. Hopefully none of your husbands are listening. When they say, how was that party? And it wasn't very good, you always tell them everything was awesome. Every party is awesome. Why? Because some parties are going to be awesome and some parties are not. And if you don't have a supportive husband or family member and you tell them it wasn't a good party, they're going to say, I told you so. And they're going to make you feel defeated and that you don't want to do it anymore. And I tell you this from personal experience. For 17 years of my business, and remember I've told you I've only been doing this almost 19, my husband was not supportive of my business. And he just now in the last couple of years has been. Mind you, I've earned free trips and I'm on my 20th free car, and he still wasn't supportive. So it's important for them to know that sometimes we have bad days in our job, right? But everything is awesome. That's my theory. So just a little trick for you guys there. And some of your husbands won't care, but I know that that's something some of you guys need to know. So color coding for me is key in the beginning and the end. Continue it if you like and if it works, so long as you try it for at least 3 months diligently. If you try it for at least 3 months and it doesn't work for you, message me. Let me ask you why and what you did differently. But I do it it's very simple. I don't complicate it, and I'll help you with that. So here is what might look like your calendar of the month. If you're doing a 3-week calendar, that it would be a little bit different, and I can post that for your leaders as well. But you can plan out each month at a time and take this into your parties. So people can't, in your month of March, try and date a party into May. They're dating into April. And they can't look at your May because you're dated into April. And you have control of that, okay? And kind of planning out what does your business need to look like for you. So this next sheet here is called the 5 activities for a balanced business. And this is based on different levels. So what I will tell you here is you see that it says manager, executive manager, and directors. So I would look at manager and consultant the same. I believe everybody has the potential to step up if they choose to. You can make money 2 ways as a consultant. You can make money 5 ways as a manager, 6 ways as a director. It's your choice. So if you look at yourself as a manager, MIT, manager in training, these are what you would look at for 1 hour a day, per week. Executive managers and star managers would be 2 hours each week, and directors and above would be at least 2 or more hours per activity per week. So number 1 is dating parties. Calling all of your upcoming hosts to make sure that they're in check, they have their recipe, you know what their host gift goals are and those kind of things, and also calling back hosts that said that they would date a party for you, and you can get some word choice on how to get more of those parties in your date book. Number 2 is recruiting interviews, spending at least an hour a week on recruiting interviews with your upline, or if you already know how to do it, you do it yourself. You pull out that recruiting tool that's in our back office. It has interview questions, and you sit down, and you can also call them practice interviews, because if I sit down with Lisa and I'm giving her questions, or asking her questions about what she might think about if she joined our business possibly. A lot of times by the time that you've done that recruiting interview, they don't often think that it's a bad idea, and then they want to sign up because you've asked all the right questions, you've told them about what the business is about, and you need to align this in your date book and your planner as a Be Blue business time, because that is business is what grows your future business. It's not a yellow time where you're making money. Ultimately, our recruiting interviews and recruiting people make us more money, but you have to have the parties in order to ultimately get there. And parties come in all different shapes and forms, as we know now, and I've told you about. Number 3, training your new recruits. What's the very best way to train new people? Anybody want to shout that out for me?
Take them to a party with you.
Number 1 is take them to a party, and number 2?
I don't know.
That's okay. Getting them to your rally or your fun night. That's your business leader's job, right? Your job is to grow your date book, recruit more people, and let us help build the deal and seal the deal for you to help you step up and make more money. So if you can get recruits to your parties so they can actually observe what happens, and you can get them to get to their training or get them on these online trainings, that's a great opportunity for them to go and learn for themselves and be self-motivated. Training your new recruits also comes with a kit issue, which may look different for each of you. New consultant orientation, which could be a weekly or a monthly training based on your business leader. Star Track is something that each company does a little bit differently, but something that my company does with my business partner. We have quarterly a 6-week training that we hone in on more designated classes specifically, like this one, for example. And then, of course, observation parties, like you just said. So these are people who sometimes know about the business a little bit and just need a little bit of refire, and sometimes know nothing at all, but they need your leadership. And some of you might think, well, I'm not a manager yet. That's okay. You're still in this business. You're still excited and you have the desire to want for more. That's why you guys are all on this training tonight. So how can you help your people to grow in their business? And having the systems and solutions that Tupperware has already in line along with your business leaders will help you to build your business even more. Number 4 is team building. This often happens at team meetings, org meetings, datathons. Tupperware has quarterly datathons, conference trainings, and coaching calls, promoting parties, etc. So there's a lot of opportunities there to build a team and get them excited about how you guys can each help each other to grow that team. And once you build team camaraderie, you can be unstoppable. Sometimes it doesn't matter what the skill level is within that team, because everybody wants to see each other succeed, and so they tend to do a lot more to help each other along and hold each other accountable as well. And number 5, strong communication. And I think we know that in all relationships in our business, strong communication is a really important factor in your business and in life, right? In order to have successful business, you have to have communication. Your communication starts with your recruiter, your manager, your director, and your business leader. And that is so important. And at the end of the day, your business leader is always there for you, even when others are not. And I don't know everybody's situation, but I know that sometimes that can be. So know that your business leader is your line of communication. We also have customer service lines. We have our weekly training with Cheryl every week on the Tupperware website. There is just so many things that are out there. Now, each set of communication is going to be different per person. Young people nowadays, if you've noticed, they really like to text and instant message and Snapchat and all those crazy things, right? Some of us that are a little more seasoned don't even know what Snapchat is unless we have a teenager to teach us, right? And so we're learning instant messenger and texting and those kind of things. So if you have people like me who are more old school, I like phone calls. But I often know that I'm super busy too. And so my team knows they can pretty much instant message me, and as soon as I can, I'm going to reply. And I'm good about texting as well. I personally don't do a lot of emails anymore because people don't email as often, and so my communication has changed. But I do accommodate people what works for them, because we do have different walks of life and people who do communicate differently. But communication is key in your business. That's how you build the dream and do those kind of things. I will tell you a couple other things that you can do. Whether you have, like those of you that have an iPhone, you know you can use FaceTime. Another option that you can use if you have an Android or an Android to iPhone, like if I'm messaging Lisa, she has an iPhone. So her and I might use the IMO app, which is an app you can download. It's called IMO. And the other thing that you can use is instant messenger video chat. No matter what kind of phone or device that you have, the instant messenger video chat is fun, and it allows you to have face-to-face and also have some fun filters, so you can make yourself with flowers. It's really entertaining, or breathe fire. And then you can also do text videos, and let's see, what is the other one? And then, of course, the Zoom platform that we're using today. I use Zoom almost daily in my business, because then I can reach out to people, and whether I've met you before or not, it's almost excuse me, like we know each other because I've had the opportunity to see you face to face. And I'm really big on seeing faces, like I said to you guys in the beginning. If I can see your face tonight, it makes my heart happy because I like to know who I'm talking to. I don't like to look at black screens. So when you add these things to your parties and build these activities, you cannot fail because you're doing the different activities in your business to help build you. So looking at this sheet here, what is your time worth? I want you to think, if I have one night a week or one day or 1 hour a week and I make 10 phone calls, what is that worth in my business for the month? So just a kind of hypothetical example here for you. If I called 10 people and 2 of them chose to hold a standard party at $500, that gives me $1,000 in sales. 2 of them become helpers and do what we might call a catalog or book party of $150. So that gives me $300. 2 of them might place an order, split the BOGO offers, whatever the sale of the month is. That gives me another $100 order. And then 4 of them are just not nice. They might hang up. They might say, never, don't call me back, whatever the case may be, right? So of those 10 phone calls, I received $1,400 in sales credit, which gives me $140 per call when I average it out. That's $350 in my pocket. When I add my samples to that, I'm at the $1,500 Connie level, which also gives me a bonus. So was it worth my phone calls and taking time to make 10 phone calls? Absolutely. So if you have a JOB and you can make 5 phone calls on one lunch hour today and 5 phone calls on tomorrow's lunch hour, then do it. Take the time to do that for yourself. And when somebody says, you know what, I can't talk right now, but call me back, I would say, Donna, when's a good time to call you back? Call me tomorrow at lunchtime. Okay, you got it. And then call her back tomorrow at lunchtime. Don't wait, because then they say, yeah, I knew she wasn't going to call me. And that's what people tend to think. So make sure that you follow through. Follow through and follow up are such a key component in your business. You have to follow through. Then what does your 15-hour work week look like if you chose to work at the 15-hour work week? This is our standard manager MIT. So you might up the ante when you're growing. Maybe those of you that want to be a director, any of you guys want to be a director? Say yes, hallelujah, right? Okay, so 15 hours here, you want to double that to 30 hours a week. Hey, Emily, I see your face. I love faces. All right, so first thing is moving up in Tupperware might look something a little like this. 2 parties a week equals 6 hours. Why do we have insurance? In case somebody hits us in our car. So date 3 parties for insurance policies in case a party is less than average or 1 cancels, okay? So that's just a little segue. Weekly meetings is 3 hours and lets you talk a lot like me, and then you might be there a little longer. You go to dinner with your girlfriends after or before, right? And then, or you'd have to drive an hour to get there, so it's a little bit longer. And then planning time of an hour. So I do my planning every single Thursday for my next week and my next day, my next quarter, my next month, my next year, whatever it is. And I always reanalyze everything because my life is changing all the time. Since we had so much snow in the last couple of weeks, they even changed my son's prom date. So I had to change all that stuff around. So you have to learn to be flexible with that. 5 hours of time for coaching and connecting each week. Now, coaching and connecting is going to be different for all of you. Those of you that are wanting to step up and grow in your business, especially moving to director, you should have a once a week coaching time with your director or business leader. Definitely. That coaching could also mean, who are you coaching in your downline? You might be an executive manager today already coaching people in your downline and guiding them to the next step. And then connecting each week is going to be different again. Are you connecting with the customers you need to follow up with your hosts that you need to follow up with or date, and then, of course, with your upline. Always stay connected to your upline if you want to grow your business. Time invested equals income opportunities. Your weekly income with doing those steps will give you $1,000 in personal sales, which is $250 in your pocket. Times 4 is $1,000 in your pocket just from your parties. Then you add bonuses, which can give you upwards of another $1,000 or more in your business. So your monthly income gives you $4,000 in personal sales, $1,400 in your pocket. It could also give you $7,500 in unit sales, because the more people you see, the more you recruit. So that gives you $7,500. If you're driving the Confident Start program, they will sell, because they want those gifts. Who wouldn't, right? And then always, always, always talk about that cookware. You can buy an iPad with the money that you make from doing your parties. You can't buy cookware for $3 unless you're in Confident Start. So drive that cookware. Profit Plus equals $225 at the $7,500 level. Your Vanguard bonus at the Executive Manager becomes $105. Executive Manager bonus after 2 months in a row gives you another $150 with a total income per month of $1,880, which is more than many people make at their job in 1 month. Total income of $22,560. This is just the minimum. I have a star manager this month who's already sold $15,000 in team sales. That executive manager that I told you about this month has personally sold $14,000 this month already, and her team sales are sitting at $27,000. So goes the leader, so goes the pack. If you want people to do more, you have to start with yourself and do more. And what's important to know, some will, some won't move on to the next person. If they want it bad enough, they'll do it. And if they don't, they won't. And it's okay. Move on, because not everybody's going to work like you do. So here's a little example for you if you want to take a picture of that, of the power hour, just to be a quick snapshot of where would you spend your time. 15 minutes a day of dating phone calls when you're doing your power hour, 15 minutes of customer calls when you're doing your power hour, of recruiting calls and follow-up, and then team development. Team development will fall under coaching your downline or coaching with your upline. So it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. If you want to be a director, do these 4 steps every single day, except for the days that you choose to take off. I promise you, some of us take a little longer. I was one of those people, but I'm here to say that it works. And my team currently is sitting in the #2 growing position in North America. And it has taken me a long time to get there, but it's exciting, right? Lots of money in your pocket when that happens. Yes, Lisa's shaking her head because she's part of that. So I want to give you guys some homework, and then I'm going to give you guys an opportunity for the next 5 minutes to ask any questions that you have. So the first thing, and everybody might not give you homework, but I'm a homework person. Lisa will tell you that, because this is for you. You don't have to share it with me. If you want to instant message me and tell me you did these things, I'm happy to celebrate with you, because I love to see everybody grow and get what they want from this business. So the first thing is, I want you guys, if you really want your date book and your planner to work for you, color code for the next 3 months of your calendar. Just do it. April, May, and June. Color code it. Try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But 99% of the time, I actually have never had anybody tell me it didn't work. So I'm going to say 99.9% of the time, when you truly color code your date book, this will work for you so that you can plan your life. Nobody should have to work on holidays and birthdays that they don't want to. I know that tomorrow, when my family is here on Easter break, I can close my month with confidence because my leaders are taking care of their teams and I don't have to worry about it. And we are still having our biggest month ever. So that works because I plan ahead. #2, make time to do your 5 Alive. What we call that is making 5 phone calls a day on the days you choose to work. If you want to be a director and you're working 5 days a week, you make 5 phone calls every single day. And that might be a customer follow-up call, a customer selling call, a host follow-up call, a host date party call, and then your coaching call, or whatever that looks like for you. #3, invite 10 people to your rally or your Tupper Fun Night, because when you invite 10, 1 usually shows up, if not more, right? If you can get them to that training and let them see what the bigger picture is about, you would be shocked at how many people want to participate. I have team members who live across the nation from border to border and sea to sea, and we have people on Zoom every single week with people in their living rooms often because they want to see what it's about even when they can't be in person. So with that, I'm going to close this up here and offer the opportunity for all of you guys. Is there any questions, comments, concern, cry of relief that you have that you would like to ask of anything that I just talked about with you guys?
Well, one thing, quickly, what is your email?
Use Instant Messenger, hun. Go Facebook friend me and use Instant Messenger.
What is your last name?
Mendoza. Samantha
Okay, thank
Mendoza.
you.
Those of you guys that are friends with Robin, Robin and I know each other very well. If she's your business leader, so you'll find me on her friend list. Most all of your business leaders have me on their friend list.
Would you mind putting up the last slide with the homework so that I can grab a quick picture of it?
Absolutely. Let me go to
Thank
that.
you.
Absolutely.
Can anybody on Superstars that's going to rally on Tuesday bring a copy of your notes for me, since I was at work and couldn't write anything?
I will, Mary Jo. It's Paulette. I'll bring them.
Thank you, Paulette.
Okay.
Robin's even got it on her page for you to print them out if you need them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I'll bring you a copy of them.
Okay, thank you, Paulette.
Okay, Mary Jo.
I got it, Samantha. Thank you.
You're
this
welcome.
is Tarnitha, by the way.
Oh, thank you, honey. Anybody else? Any other questions?
How do you mark your day book if you never know when you're working on a job that you never know what days you're working?
Good question. When I worked, my son actually has a job like that now too, and so he's learning really quickly. He should have listened to his mother from the beginning. But you know, your kids learn a lot when they grow up in this business. So what I would recommend is if there is days you know you always have off, start with that first. If you're in a job that your schedule changes every single week, that does create a little bit more challenge. So you have to highlight the best to your abilities. And that means sometimes you're going to highlight week to week versus a month at a time. I should preface to all of you that I also only highlight 1 month at a time, because if I highlight the wrong color, it drives me bat crazy, right? So I highlight, for example, on a payday, on Tupperware's payday is on Mondays. So I highlight on between Thursday and Sunday before payday for the following month. So for April, I highlighted back on March, what day was our payday? On the 12th. I was highlighted by the 11th. I always make sure I highlight before the payday. It's just a system that I use so that I'm ready for the next month, because I'm always planning ahead, but I don't want to plan too far ahead because I want parties now versus later. Does that help?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. I know it's hard when you have a job that changes week to week. That definitely is more challenging. So you have to just work your business a little bit different. I would make sure that every party that you do have has a Facebook event connected to it. So if at all, you can at least be posting YouTube videos within the event so that they are getting the education of the product and they're getting the demonstration. And anytime that you guys can do a Facebook Live video, and if you're cooking at home and you're using our product anyways, then you might as well do a Facebook Live, right? And if you have kids, get them involved. People watch more videos when the kids are involved. Those of you guys that have grandkids, bring the grandkids in and bring your neighbors over. I mean, whatever, because people like to see things interactive. And I think we've gotten in such with a social world anymore that we've lost touch of the personal touch. And so having the Facebook Live at least creates a personal touch. Any other questions? Anything else for you guys tonight? I know it's late for some of you guys across the nation, huh? Especially down there in Florida.
I just got home from work. I'm sitting in the car listening to the rest of it.
Oh, thank you. All right.
What's a way to start communication for your team?
What's a great way to start communication for our team?
Yes, because I've been kind of slack on that, but I need to get started. So
So what I would analyze is what kind of a team do you have? Do you have people who are more face-to-face, who are, I'm going to say, more mature like us? I look a little younger probably than I am, but I'm almost 40. And I still like face-to-face. I think our young people are very much...
Hey, now I am 40.
Well, I feel 40, let me tell you. I think our young people like instant messenger, Snapchat, and Facebook, those kind of things, and texting. If you don't know how to use that stuff, learn. It's challenging for sure, but find a teenager to teach you. I have to have my kids teach me. because that's the way they prefer communication. Number one, Donna, is to start. So at least initiate it. Like my Lisa that's on here today, she uses every avenue basically of communication because she has all spectrums of age on her team. And so she'll get responses in different ways. If you have a director team page or business leader team page, start the chatter on there. The more they're engaged on your business leaders page, the more they tend to pay attention. If they achieve a level of confidence, recognize them on your business leaders page because people like to see their name in lights, right? And so then they go, oh, cool. I mean, I'm getting recognized, and they like that more often. So that will start a little bit more chatter. The idea is just to start it in every way, and however they respond is how you respond. That can be more challenging for us because we have a preference of our communication, and if I could talk to everybody this way, that would be my preference. But that's not the case. So I've just learned to communicate with people differently, and whatever works for them. So I hope that helps you a little.
Thank you. I've been doing the page and posting things, and because the team's awesome, but I've had some personal things going on with my mom being ill and everything. So I need to get connected back to them because they're important to me, but I'm at the beginning of starting back into it.
And you might send a message too when you have things like that happening. Like I talked about in the beginning, we all have life that happens, right? So sometimes I feel like it's important to be transparent and say, you know, life has happened for me this month, you guys. I'm sorry that I have not been in as much communication. Know that I'm here and I care about you. And please reach out to me and let me know what you need from me, and know that I'm here and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. And those that genuinely care and appreciate that will give you grace and they'll respond. And those that are not very nice, you move on from them anyways, right?
Okay. I don't think
I have one more question. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have one more question. Like, have you had some of your team step up to manager, and then because things happen, they have to step down again and then step back up? And do you see much of that? I know I have some family things going on, so, and I have a team that I only have maybe one person doing anything. So, you know, it's kind of up to me right now, but I just stepped up to manager, but now I know I'm going to step back down. But does that happen to some of your team? And I guess you just kind of have to get a mindset about that.
Absolutely. I say my theory in life is if you can go to bed and know that you gave it your very best, then that's good enough. And if it's not working out at the time and things fall apart, it's okay. The beauty of this business is you can step up and down in this business. For example, one of my team members here was a director 10 years ago, earned herself a trip to Italy, paid for her husband and her to go on their honeymoon and wedding to Italy. And she's working towards being a director again today. And as of right now, she's a manager, and it's something she's working on, and she came back to us. I have another director right now who will have her biggest month ever of $60,000 in sales. And this month last year was quitting Tupperware and was barely a consultant. And she had been in the business with me for 9 years. So everything happens according to God's plan, I believe. If you want it bad enough, it will happen for you. And know that sometimes life happens, and it's okay. You persevere and you keep going and you step back up if that's what you want. And that is what your business leader is there to help you with.
Okay, thank you so much. I have to run now, but thank you very, very much.
Night, hon.
You too.
Any other questions? Anything else for anybody? Okay, you guys, thank you, beautiful people. Have a super great night. Have the best close to March ever. Go after your biggest month. You're going to be at Spring Fest in 2 weeks, right? I hope you're all going to Jubilee. There's less than 500 spots left at Jubilee, so make sure you're getting registered or you're going to miss out. It's at that massive, beautiful castle hotel with 7 water slides. I don't know, it's huge. You get to go to the home office and tour what it's all about there. See Stanova in person if you have never met him. He's an amazing president, very awesome. I hear another question coming through. Oh, bless my dog, he sneezed. All right, you guys have a good night. Thank you so much. I thought somebody had another question, and we'll talk to you guys all soon. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good Easter, too.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye, hon.